In this podcast episode, Jonathan Swanson shares his journey and insights on mastering time management and delegation. Drawing from his early experiences working at the White House through founding his first company to building a sophisticated team of assistants, he explores how effective delegation transforms lives. The conversation dives deep into the psychology of trust in assistant partnerships, practical steps for delegating across different levels of commitment and resources, the relationship between time and health, the challenges and common mistakes in delegation, and the evolving role of AI in augmenting human assistance. Jonathan's introduction to high-level delegation began at the White House, where he observed the president's executive assistants and their extraordinary skill. Witnessing their intimate, trust-based relationship with the president set a high standard and planted a question in his mind. What could he accomplish if he had that caliber of support? This inspired him to hire his first assistant and embark on a decade-long journey of building an efficient team to reclaim his time and increase his capacity. The presidential support system is an intricate machine, with departments like Advance meticulously planning months ahead. Beyond logistics, Jonathan highlights the psychological bond between the president and his assistants, who serve as trusted confidants and emotional anchors amidst a whirlwind of competing demands. This deep trust and understanding, coupled with comprehensive visibility into the president's life, enable assistants to navigate challenges and provide more than transactional support. Jonathan now operates with a chief of staff, managing half a dozen specialized assistants, each responsible for aspects such as work, finances, family, and home management. He cautions against starting with such a large team, advising people to begin with one assistant, scale to capacity, and grow further as their ambitions and resources allow. He describes achieving a state of time abundance, where delegating mundane or draining tasks frees him to focus on creative and meaningful pursuits. Jonathan considers time to be the most precious and non-renewable currency, far more critical than money or status. He contends that successful people invest primarily in buying time, not material possessions. This reframing explains why delegation can feel so alien or privileged to some, but fundamentally, purchasing hours back from tasks you dislike, like cleaning or errands, is a straightforward and accessible form of leverage. Acknowledging that many lack funds for paid assistance, Jonathan suggests creative, cost-free ways to leverage time. Using AI tools like ChatGPT for coaching or task management, establishing reciprocal help networks among friends for childcare or errands, and learning to delegate within your existing social infrastructure can all unlock more productivity and freedom without monetary cost. Delegation can start with simple task-based assignments, such as ordering flowers or managing a calendar, but the greatest leverage comes from delegating processes, goals, and ultimately achieving a state of clairvoyant delegation, where the assistant anticipates needs and works proactively. Jonathan emphasizes starting with offloading pain points, repetitive, low cognitive load tasks, before progressing to higher-level personal and professional goals. This phased approach requires continued detailed feedback and investment in the relationship. The podcast identifies 4 common mental blocks: pride, believing you're faster or better doing it yourself; guilt, feeling bad about offloading tasks to someone else; selfishness, hesitating to share access or responsibilities; and lack of commitment, dabbling without full buy-in. Jonathan stresses that commitment and the willingness to provide detailed, honest feedback are essential to build effective partnerships with assistants. Jonathan advocates starting with virtual assistants for their cost efficiency and expanding to in-person help as resources grow. Virtual assistants can manage many cognitive and administrative tasks remotely, while physical presence covers errands and hands-on support. He also predicts a future where teleoperated robots combine these advantages, further bridging the gap between virtual and physical assistants. The integration of AI with human assistants is a major theme. Jonathan's company is developing hybrid systems where AI handles routine, mechanical work, while humans focus on complex and judgment-based tasks. He envisions tools that monitor workflows in real time to identify opportunities for delegation automatically, allowing seamless cooperation between user, AI, and human helper. One of the episode's most impactful ideas is that growing leverage expands ambition. When overwhelmed, people's horizons narrow to immediate survival. As they offload burdens and gain mental space, their goals naturally grow larger and more inspiring. Delegation, therefore, is not just about time, but about enabling scaling of purpose and impact. Time control is vital for health foundations like sleep, exercise, and nutrition. Jonathan cites sleep expert Brian Johnson's hierarchy, but points out that many people lack time for these essentials due to work or family demands. Regaining control over time through delegation is thus a prerequisite for sustaining physical and mental well-being. Tasks that sap energy but require little creativity, renewing documents, scheduling, paying bills, are ideal for delegation. Removing these cognitive weights frees up brain power for planning, creativity, and higher-order thinking. Jonathan likens assistance to a cognitive prosthetic that offloads mental clutter and preserves mental faculties. Constructive feedback is key. Jonathan encourages delivering detailed, specific, and timely comments regularly, rather than vague appraisals. He says that effective delegation requires exporting your personal decision-making algorithm so assistants understand not just what to do, but how and why. This coaching process refines results over months or years. Delegating inevitably entails inefficiencies, initial mistakes, lower speed, communication overhead, but these are necessary trade-offs for greater total output and impact. Drawing on concepts like the vector sum in teams, Jonathan stresses the need to accept imperfections to achieve compounding gains. He encourages measuring life by meaningful outputs rather than efficiency of every single task. Common barriers to starting delegation are fear it won't work and reluctance to relinquish control. Jonathan recommends building trust incrementally, starting with limited access tasks and deepening the relationship over time. He emphasizes that the best results come from long-term partnerships rather than half-hearted or short-term attempts. Jonathan reframes delegation as a gift, providing meaningful work and income that supports assistants' lives as much as it supports the principal's time. Mutual respect and kindness are essential to sustainable relationships. Mistreatment often leads to failure and is unacceptable in his model. Delegating via voice notes is more efficient and less burdensome than typing. It allows real-time, fast communication and richer feedback, making it easier to provide nuanced instructions and coaching. Jonathan cites voice delegation as one of the key habits of successful delegators. Jonathan shares his personal system of reducing phone addiction by using a freedom phone stripped of distracting apps and locked to essentials only. This life hack aligns well with delegation, minimizing time sinks and freeing more mind space for high-value activities. Through AI-assisted research, Jonathan notes that history's greats, Cicero, Newton, Caesar, Einstein, and others, all utilized personal assistants to amplify their impact. Famous delegators like Catherine the Great even managed personal aspects such as dating through trusted aides. The lesson is clear: great achievements are facilitated by teams and delegation. The brain itself is optimized to delegate higher-order complex tasks handled by the prefrontal cortex, routine tasks managed by automated neural circuits. Delegation is thus hardwired into our biology, and extending it between people is a natural evolution that increases cognitive capacity beyond the individual. Jonathan recounts experiments, such as working without a calendar or meetings to reclaim autonomy over his schedule. These radical shifts underscore the value of redesigning how time is managed with intention supported by strong delegation systems. Delegation of delegation is possible but limited. For example, assistants can help with preliminary recruiting outreach, scheduling, or coordination, but a principal often still needs to execute core decisions and provide strategic guidance. Delegation scales when tightly structured and supported by clearly defined processes. While formal coaching courses for assistants are scarce, Athena provides internal playbooks and guides to help principal-assistant partnerships thrive. Jonathan encourages users to start small, learn by doing, and refine delegation practices through ongoing iteration and feedback. Jonathan warns of potential pitfalls like outsourcing life excessively, disengaging from meaningful relationships, or mistreating assistants. He stresses maintaining balance, respecting personal involvement in core life areas, and fostering positive, reciprocal relationships with assistants. Delegation unlocks willpower by freeing it from low-value tasks, allowing the limited mental resource to be spent on high-impact goals. As leverage grows, ambition escalates in a positive feedback loop. People begin to dream bigger when they have the cognitive space and time to do so. Jonathan advises a gradual, patient onboarding, starting with offloading disliked tasks and increasing complexity as trust and feedback improve. Effective delegation evolves from task delegation to process, goal, and eventually proactive, anticipatory work, the ultimate clairvoyant assistant. The integration of AI and human assistants, as well as emerging technologies like teleoperated robots, point to a future where assistance is more seamless, proactive, and embedded in daily workflows. AI will function as a force multiplier for human assistance rather than a replacement. For additional support and to explore tools and services, Jonathan invites listeners to visit athena.com, where resources and specialized assistance can help anyone begin the journey toward enhanced leverage and time sovereignty.